you saying you and your company have written over 10,000 grants?
100%. This year alone, we're at $400,000 in grants that we've actually won monetary wise. We just had 13 vendors at InvestFest.
I spend about $400,000 a year on Podcast Summit. How much of that you think we can get covered?
I would honestly say we could look forward to like 80%. You can see right now there's 9,883 available grants currently on the marketplace. So anyone that's saying that they can't find a grant and there's almost 10,000 grants out there is capped.
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. We find dope people that do dope stuff. And today is no different. There's a young lady here. I guess I met you when you were in your 20s, though, and been just cooking. Just cooking. And I'm really proud of you because when I was 30, I was an idiot. I didn't know what was going on in the world. I didn't know what I was going to do in my life, really. I had an idea, I suppose, but you are really, taking the internet by storm because you've had a bunch of things that have gone viral, like where people start sharing. And I know I've seen your content a lot, but you are here to tell us how to get the money without the hustle. Still got to work, right? But this grant process is really, really intriguing to me. So today we have Miss Stormi Banks. What up?
Hey. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Oh, thanks for being here. Is your real name Stormi?
I'll talk to you about that off camera.
We can't talk about it here? That's a nickname.
It is. It's a trademark nickname.
It's a trademark nickname. Okay. But you can't talk about it publicly? Mm-mm. Why not, though?
You know, I just like to keep things front-facing and business-oriented. You know, actually, I really enjoy having like a alias, so to say, because then when I go back home to my family and they call me by my name, it feels like a separation. Yeah. So I don't feel like I'm always this person that everyone sees on like Instagram and on the internet, you know? It's like I get to have a release. I feel like
I ain't mad at that. And it sticks.
Yeah.
So clearly you're a marketer. So today we are going to talk about the grant writing process. So one, I know you help people understand how to get grants, but I just found out that you actually can write me a grant. Do people pay you up front to write a grant, or is it based on a percentage of what you get?
Yeah, once you get your certification, you can't do any percentages. They'll take your certification from you. So it's supposed to be either an upfront flat fee or an hourly rate that you're charging, because what people forget is that the grant writer's job is to create the messaging, the documentation, to find the grants, source the grant opportunities, and then, you know, submit those grant opportunities for you and write the proposals. But they can't guarantee that you're going to win. So them doing like a success rate-based funding opportunity is seen as unethical in the industry. You're supposed to get paid for the service that you're providing.
I see. And how many grants have you personally written, or not written, but how many grants have you personally like received?
Like monetary wise, or like number in grants that I've won for my company?
Give me both.
Okay, so I mean, this year alone, we're at $400,000 in grants that we've actually won monetary wise. And that's 14 grants that we've won altogether this year.
You're talking about this year? You won 13 grants.
I think it's 14.
Tell me one of the grants you wrote that you got the money for.
So the AT&T had a grant that came out, which is our just recent one. It's called the She's Connected grant, but we didn't actually win the She's Connected grant. What happened was we actually got denied from the She's Connected grant, but we went back into, find their like treasurer and find out the program director and let them know like, hey, can we get any feedback on our application? And they actually told us we have another program that was coming out after that grant that we think you would actually be a good fit for. And we resubmitted and won that grant. It wasn't even a public grant that they were offering. It was an internal relationship-based grant.
Wow. So if you don't get a grant, you follow back up them and ask them why?
Every time. I tell literally everybody, whenever I teach classes and stuff, I'm like, follow up, figure out what happened on your application, because A, there's more money. If they had it to give out on this program, I'm sure they have more money to give out. B, you find out what did you do right or wrong on your application so that you can like tailor your approach next time and get better every single time with data-driven results. And then also when you're building those relationships with those funders, they'll introduce you to other opportunities. It may not always be monetary, but there's like in-kind support grants too, right? So like, let's say you write a grant proposal and you're like, well, we need $50,000 $50,000 because we need staff, we need equipment, we need a venue. They may say, hey, we don't have enough monetary support to give you, but we do have volunteers that could come out and help you at your next event. We do have a venue that you guys can utilize, right? You can get those in-kind donations from them as well when you have those relationships.
What's the best in-kind donation that you've gotten from a grant where it's like, yo, this was valuable?
My events are usually in-kind support through volunteers. So like we'll have people come through. You have volunteers at the podcast.
Yeah, but I
summit.
gotta put out a volunteer call,
Yeah.
hit people up, email them, hey, come through. Like,
That's the best thing we get is a lot of volunteer support. And these are like people who work events. So they're like staff trained and they're coming out to literally support the mission. And the good thing about that too is, so AT&T specifically, right? If they're trying to boost their corporate responsibility, they're like, we're going to make our employees do, 10 hours of community service this month, whatever that may look like. And so what they'll do is have them come to your event and they'll sponsor it by having volunteers there who are like helping you with the event, working for free, no cost. And they're utilizing that to also get to know your company. So now all these employees at AT&T know Pink Print. They're in love with the mission. They see the impact that you guys are making and they're going back to headquarters talking about the event was lovely. This was amazing. This was incredible. So now you're getting more integrated into what that corporation does and them to support you further beyond. Like we've been hosted on their platform, on their website. Like you can really get some really good benefits just from asking for the money.
wow.
There's it never hurts your business to pitch your business. That's what I always tell people.
100%. And so this year, 13, 14 grants, if you had to calculate, how many grants do you think you've won between you and your company writing them? And monetarily, what does that equate to?
We've had over 10,000 clients to date through our summits and through our writing process. It's countless grants that we've won.
Hold on. Now, I'm not talking about the people that you've like turned on to this industry where they're making their own bag. Your company and you wrote grants. How many of those grants you think you have?
Well, in terms of, ask it one more time. You're saying the grants that we've written specifically for our clients, how many of those have we won?
Yes.
Well, we've maintained.
Or how many have you written total?
Oh,
you think?
Thousands.
Really?
It's been thousands. Yeah, we've been open for 4 years now. Literally, we've had 10,000 clients through summits and through actual writing. And it's thousands, because the thing is we don't just write one grant for one company, right? We may be working with them for a year, submitting 5 grants every month, 10 grants every month.
So you're saying you and your company have written over 10,000 grants?
100%. Over the last 4 years, yes.
God, you have a formula.
Thank you. This is what I've been trying to tell people. Grant writing should be formulated. It should be data driven. You should be running it like a business, like a stream of revenue in your business, not like throwing spaghetti at the wall or a lottery ticket. I'm so glad that you said that.
Okay, yeah, I'm really trying to wrap my mind around this. So you write grants and you have a team or a staff of people that help you write grants, and you're saying you teach them the formula and you tell, okay, this is the grant we're going after, and they already know exactly how to attack it. Don't you have to do like a lot of research and stuff for grants?
100%. Yeah, you do. And with AI coming out, it's definitely decreased a lot of our time that it would have taken us in the past. It has, enhanced our ability to take on more customers and clients. So like when you're researching grants, for instance, what you can do, like how you can utilize AI is being able to ask. This is what we do. We ask it, let's say it's ABC Funder is giving out $50,000 in grant opportunities, right? So we'll go on AI and say, ABC, how many grants has ABC Funder given out in the last 3 months? Okay. So it'll kick us back. Okay, this is how many grants that ABC Funder has given out. We'll say, which companies did they give these to and what amounts? So now we're starting to learn, what is that funder looking for? What type of companies are they funding? What type of budgets are they approving? And what type of missions are they aligning with the most? So now we know how to change the messaging for our customer, or be able to align our customer with the right grantor, because we can find that research like super quick.
Got it. Okay. This is incredible. And we're going to get into the interview to help the audience, but this is about me now. Okay? So I do Podcast Summit. I help people with their content, help entrepreneurs, things of that nature. Where am I missing money in this great thing?
I need you guys to subscribe to this video. David has just said, if you guys don't subscribe, we're getting fired. Please, I have a wife and a family.
Equipment. Are you doing the podcast summit through a nonprofit or through a for-profit?
1 year I did nonprofit. This one I had to do it for profit because my nonprofit didn't have any money.
So there, I would say the nonprofit.
So run the event through my nonprofit.
Yeah, I would say so, because then I know you guys offer services to help people get started with the podcast. You do the for-profit, right?
Yeah.
So then, you can hire your for-profit to offer those services or give like scholarships through your nonprofit to people to be able to work with you guys. You could also be able to get...
Pause. Hold on. I can write a grant for my nonprofit to produce this event. I can hire my for-profit company, myself, to come speak, teach, get the staff, all that kind of stuff to produce the event.
Correct.
As I'm putting the grant together, do I have to notate who I'm using as vendors?
The more detail you can give, the better, because then you can
give
like
be okay with it because it's what I do, right?
And you can give direct pricing, and at the end of the day, like a nonprofit isn't owned by you; it's by a board of directors. Yes. So it still has to go through the certain, causes and approvals for you to even be able to do that. Gotcha. So it's never an issue for you to hire your for-profit.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So those would be the main things. I would say your nonprofit is a part where you're losing money, hosting the event, tax-free dollars, because people don't know that grants are not tax-free, right? They're debt-free, but not tax-free. And then I would say
grants are tax-free, not debt-free.
The other way around. They're debt-free, but not tax-free.
Explain that.
So you're not going into debt because no one's asking you to repay the money back. There's no interest, there's no credit, and it's not dilutive, right? There's no equity splits that you're giving out. But grants goes on your tax returns as additional income. So this is taxable money at the level of whatever your corporation is structured as, right? So the only way to be able to navigate that is, of course, by taking losses, spending the money within the fiscal year, or donating it to a nonprofit where it becomes tax-free.
Got it. That makes sense. But obviously the nonprofit has to distribute the money to make sure. So somebody's getting taxed. So I do like the fact that there are some checks and balances because we have to operate within the law. So Correct. That's cool. All right. So let's just say podcast summit. Mm-hmm. What grants can I go after? And let's say I bring you on as a partner, a podcast summit. I'm like, I want to build with you. You get an equity split in this company, and you like how I'm talking?
You're talking good.
I'm talking good out here, right? And I say, okay, you are over the funding department of Podcast Summit. What are you going after, and what do you think we can get?
So the first thing I'm probably going after is grants for financial literacy, because that's been really a big topic. So what I'm going to look for is how can we create the podcast summit into a curriculum, which it sounds like you might already have, to where we can be able to wide stream this out and be able to get grants to not only host it at the event, but now take the event and host it to, high schools, colleges, and things of that nature to really expand. Because at the end of the day, yes, you want to get the grant money, but the goal is to actually expand the business. So that's how I'm thinking of it, right? The next thing I would do is probably, I also want to just give you operational support. So I'm going to go for a ton of corporate grants, because corporations will not only sponsor, but also give you the grant money to be able to be a part of the journey of the podcast summit. You guys have been doing it for what, 3 years now? So you guys have a lot of traction. It's pretty clear of what impact it makes. So that would be an easy thing to do, is get corporations on board in multiple different ways, whether that's giving you more exposure through their platform, partnering with you through, maybe Sony would give you guys the equipment to shoot it that day, or, be a part of it in that way. But then also, of course, monetary support from corporations to just be able to float everything that it costs, right? The venue, the this, the that, the third. Those would be my first two things that I would go for that I think would make a ton of sense.
So let's say Sony, are you looking for Sony to have a grant already, or are you reaching out to them just to see how do you attack that?
Yeah, that's the thing, is they don't have to have a grant open on the marketplace for you to apply. So what I'm doing is, typically how I do it is I go on LinkedIn and I look for the program directors, right? Who's over the budgets, who's doing program directory at Sony in this department, right? Because every corporation probably has a grant department where they're giving out money, sponsorship department, whatever that looks like. So I'm trying to find that person and reach out to them directly to let them know, here's our pitch deck, here's what we have going on. We would love for you guys to be a part of what we're doing. That's my first, line of action. I would also will research the database to see if they've had any grants that have been out in the past or if they have one open. But that's probably going to be like last step for me.
Got it. So where are we going in terms of like whatever the grant website is? How do we get government money for this?
Yeah, so you can get, there's 3 different type of grants. So there's federal grants, there's state, local grants, and then there's corporation grants, right? And when you're talking about government grants, you're talking about your federal grants and you're talking about your state, local grants. So if you're looking to get those, you're going on like grants.gov and you're going on like grantwatch.com, you're going on GrantStation, you're going on like actual grant databases that have live active grants available.
Okay. Last question on this for Podcast Summit. So, first off, congratulations on being my business partner. Okay,
Thank you.
So that's
great.
Exciting. We need to do like a ribbon cutting, or I'll get you a chain or something like that.
Chain.
A little Podcast Summit chain. What do you think? Idea is amazing. We already have traction. How much money do you think we can rely on grants? I spend about $400,000 a year on Podcast Summit. How much of that you think we can get covered?
I would say, depending on how much time we have, if we have a year to go for grants,
We got a year.
I would honestly say we could look forward to like 80% of it being funded by grants.
Congratulations. Hey, Kay, let's get her a contract. We're going to negotiate the equity split, okay? Because you're my business partner now, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Clap it up.
That's fire. 80%, you think?
Definitely.
What makes you such a good grant writer?
I think it's the process. First off, I'm a vision person, right? And so with grant writing, it's not just about being able to create a messaging to be competitive. You have to like really see, how could someone connect to this? How could this help a mass amount of people? And then I'm also a business owner, right? I'm not just a grant writer. I'm a business owner as well, running a really successful operation. So I'm also looking at it from a standpoint of what do businesses need to actually expand and thrive on just a foundational level. So I think coupling my skill set of just being a certified grant writer, constantly having to go through, classes and education to be certified, with the vision, the creativity, and with the actual experience as a business owner, I think all those things together just brings forth super successful grant writer.
Tell me about you in your like late teens. Who are you?
Late teens? I got to remember that girl.
It's a whole nother person.
It really
wasn't
was.
that long ago.
Yeah, but it really was a whole nother person. Like, people have to remember, in a year, you can change a lot.
That's a fact.
I look at some people and I'm like, every year my goal is to learn a new language or lose weight, become more healthy, make more money. It's like something drastic that makes me a new person. So if you compound that over 15 years, I'm totally transformed, right? I would say late teens. I was a hairstylist. Right, in that era, and I was focused on becoming the best hairstylist that I could be. And I was working in New York at a salon, and I had a lot of aspirations to be an entrepreneur at that time. I really remembered it because at first I thought I was just defiant and I didn't really like, people telling me what to do. But I actually learned that, I really believe in myself. Like, I learned that defiancy was like a desire to like believe in myself and like take action on believing in what I could produce. And I just never had the avenue to do it within a working environment. And so shortly after, I got fired from the salon, from asking for a 50-50 commission split because we were 60-40. And then I had the opportunity, right? The opportunity was there. And I was like, well, I'm going to bet on me and do what it do. And then in my early 20s, that's when I started my first company.
What was the company?
Just Hair. It's a mobile hair salon that was in New York. And
Wow.
I grew up pretty good. But when COVID hit, it went downhill because we couldn't work. But it was thriving.
So for about 4 or 5 years, you're running this
I was
thing.
thriving it. Yeah. I was literally making 6 figures, in that business. And it was me. And then I started hiring other people. At one point, I had 5 other operators who were hairstylists. And we were going around mobily to people's houses doing hair. And it was dope.
As an entrepreneur, what do you think you had to learn from that 16, 17, 18-year-old little girl to today that helps you get to that next level?
I think what I had to learn, I really had to learn politicking. That was like a really big lesson that I learned. After I got fired from that salon, the owner was like, I used to be like you, but you'll learn that sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do to get where you want to go. And, that resonated with me for a very long time. And I was like, he don't know nothing. But, as I got older, I was like, okay, politics is real. Like, certain people have to like you. Certain people have to know you and trust you in certain places to open those doors. And that's just what it is. And then also, you got to shake hands and kiss babies. You have to know how to be able to do that. So sometimes you got to be quiet. You got to wait. You got to be patient. And you got to politic.
Bruh, this answer is so on time, because when I say stuff like that, they're like, nah, Dave, you too humble or you being fake. I'm like, bruh, I'm here to feed my kids. I'm playing a game. Sometimes I don't like, and one of my mentors told me one time, you don't have to like everybody you work with, because there's going to be some people that they just don't fit your personality and you don't like them, but they get the job done. So you need to put those emotions away, suppress those for a little bit to get the job done. And very rarely people give me that answer that you just gave. That's maturity right there.
Thank you. I'm working on myself.
Man, for sure. So this hair salon, you're working in a hair salon, you get fired from that, you do your own mobile studio. COVID hits. And what happened?
Sheesh. That's when COVID really turned things around for me. I think again, the opportunity just happened. You know what I learned during that time too, David, is obedience is crazy, because I feel like at that time I was not being obedient because I had already known that I was destined for more. Like, once I got the taste of entrepreneurship, I'm like, oh, I could run a business. I'm a business owner. I'm not a hairstylist. And so God was like really telling me, like, it's time to shift. It's time to move. It's time to pivot. And I was like, yeah, but this money good though. This money is keeping the lights on. And I was getting stuck to, the money in the life that I was living, that I didn't want to move. And COVID hit and shifted everything, right? Lost the salon, couldn't work. New York shut everything down. So I had to move back to Memphis, where my mom was living at the time. And I had to work in a salon that my friend owned out there because I couldn't work in New York.
Dang, so you had to go back to work.
I literally did. It was such a shift, right? And in that moment of being so humble, it actually gave me a hunger, because I was like, okay, well, I know I don't want to do this, so I got to create a plan to get out of here as soon as possible. And I started seeing like Atlanta was still open. Y'all was over here lit. So I was like,
Parties.
I was like,
Golly.
I'm trying to get to Atlanta.
The most virus-infected venues. Oh, my gosh.
Y'all was lit. Y'all
Sharing
was over
hookahs
here
and everything.
open.
Don't nobody care about no COVID.
So that became kind of like my vision. It's like, okay, I got to get to Atlanta and open up a salon so that I could own a business out there, because they're open and I can be able to, I had this grand plan in my head. So I had to stay out in Memphis, and I just worked, right? I literally started running a $50 sew-in special. Okay. Wow. I was like $50 sew-ins. I was posting flyers on people's car parking lot, in the windshield. Wow. I took it back to like guerrilla marketing 1-on-1 and just got to the hustle. Ended up saving $50,000. And I moved in with my best friend, and we was like, okay, we working this plan. We doing what we got to do. And I was like, girl, I'm about to go to Atlanta. I'm about to open up the salon. I went to Atlanta to go look at the salon. When I came back, she had stole the $50,000 that I had saved.
And first off, why do you have $50,000 in cash?
We was moving weight. That's how it felt. It was a fast-paced, immature moment of life. But I tell people all the time, it was the best thing that could have happened to me.
She stole your 50 bands.
It was the best thing that could have happened to me, because now I have bad credit. I don't have revenue in terms of, my tax returns or my bank account statements. So I can't get traditional funding. And I need funding because I have this vision and I have this salon literally in the tips of my fingers. So now I'm like, what can I do?
How did she know where the 50,000 was?
I'm a super open person when it comes to like people I love, still to this day. Like, there's really nothing that you won't know about me when you're close like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's not a good way to be.
I thought that at first, but then I was like, what happens if like something happens to me, I kind of have like it's called my SOP, my life SOP. It has all my passwords on it, socials, banks, like, so that anyone who needs to get my stuff knows how to get it. You ain't with that?
No, bro. You give it to an attorney and write it in a will.
Yeah. You're right.
Don't do that no more.
You're right.
But you probably wouldn't have 50 bands on you cash.
Oh, never.
Nowadays, anyway.
Now I don't have, all I have is my phone. I don't even have a credit card with me.
I do love the fact, man, I like you even more, like more and more, just getting a chance to see how your brain works. Like when some people say, oh, it's not an L, it's a lesson, they say it, but they don't really believe that. Mm-hmm. But I can see, like, as you're going through life, you're willing to pick up these little gems. And eventually you have the gems and you become this walking gem with this perspective. Mm-hmm. But I would have definitely looked at that as a loss.
No, yeah. I mean, it was hurtful, right? You're grieving.
Have you talked to her since?
No, I haven't. You know, people have like been, keyed me in on different information.
She's probably on crack by now.
I hope not. I really pray.
Yeah, she's dancing.
I pray for her.
Crack,
I pray for her. I really do. I hope that she's doing well and that everything is good. Because at the end of the day, I loved her. Like, I'm not going to change the fact that I loved you because you did what you did in that moment. This life is set up to sin. Like, it's not an easy life to live. Yeah. So I'm not going to be hard on somebody because I've made my mistakes too, child.
Yeah.
So,
haven't we all?
You know?
All right, I take it back. I hope she's not on crack.
I hope she's not on crack.
Yeah, me too.
If you see this, get off the crack.
Okay, so you don't have anything right now. Then what happens?
So now I'm like, I got this burning desire to open up the salon. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? I started getting online and I was seeing people like, Troy and Rashad and you and all these other people talking about financial literacy in their own lives and on podcasts. And I'm like, all right, what can I do? I had remembered that I had won a grant for my mobile hair salon business. And I'm like, okay, I do know how to do that. I do know that process. Let me just get on live and talk about it. It went from 0 people on the live, 5 people on the live, 20 people on the live, 100 people on the live with me just talking about the process of grants.
Wow.
Hey, you guys know that as a for-profit business owner, corporations are giving out funding. The government's giving out funding. Your local state will give you funding. And they're like, how? Now let's get on Zoom charging $5. Just come on Zoom with me for $5.
$5.
I still charge $5 for my Zooms.
Do you really?
Get Grant Ready Summits are $5 all the time.
Yo, but at this point, you had only won one grant.
But more than most.
I rock with me some Stormy. Yes. Okay, keep going.
So I'm like, okay, we on live. I'm talking about it. And we start seeing people winning just from the classes. So now people are like, well, can you actually do the process for us? I'm like, yes, I can.
Absolutely.
So that's when I got my certification. I went through the certification to actually learn, like, what am I really talking about, right? I'm just talking from like a perspective. I did this before one time, but now how can I really educate myself to be able to like navigate the process better and like really support? And got my certification, started doing it. At first I did it for free, just beta testing, like, can I win for anybody else? Yeah. Won some grant opportunities, then I put a price on it, and it really just took off from there, and Pink Print was born.
How much did it cost you to get your certification?
The certification was about $1,500 at the time, or like $1,699.
And how much did you charge your first client?
Well, I charged my first people free, but then once I started charging, I think I charged $150.
Can I get yesterday's price?
Yesterday's price is not today's price. That's hilarious.
Wow. So free, and you got some people some grants. Mm-hmm. What was the first grant you got for someone else?
I can't even remember that. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, what did we actually get? When I tell you that.
Or one of those earlier ones that maybe it was free or
they were low. Yeah, they were like $5,000, $1,000 grants, $10,000 grants. And they were like grants.
That's low?
Well, compared to what we do now, like right now I'm working on this super dope telecommunications grant. It's a $2.5 million grant. Right. And it's so cool. We're in like the 3rd stage. It's like a few more stages left. But it's like this company is going to offer internet to rural areas that can't access internet speeds above, 30 MPBs, So it's like a super life-changing grant and impactful grant to work on. So I don't even really work on the like $10,000 grants anymore.
Hold on. Is this a grant for yourself or you're working on this with a client? So they understand the space.
Yeah. That's their space. I don't know their space like they know their space. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. As one of the first person you charged $150, let's say, how much time did it take you?
Yeah. So when you go for those corporate grants, those are quicker. Those are like 30 days to 60 days, right? Where you can get that funding pretty swiftly. And then if you're working on like a state local grant, you're looking at like 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Federal grants could be, a year or two because all the different processes. But yeah, 30, 60 days were the initial ones.
But did you think to yourself, golly, 30 days for $150?
I didn't. I've always really done it because it excites me, because I'm like, it's not just getting someone the money, right? It's like, okay, when someone gets a grant that they don't have to pay back, money that they don't have to pay back to grow their business, the validation that they feel in their spirit, the worth that they feel in their spirit, it goes skyrocketing. Like, I just see them shoulder back, like, girl, I don't want a grant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you just have a different momentum about your business, and you finally feel like, wow, somebody sees my idea and believes in it. So for me, that was really like the high, because I'm like, why don't you believe in yourself enough to do this process? Like, go for grant opportunities consistently, but being able to offer the service to help people and give them that validation or help them receive that was enough.
Got it. What was the first big grant you got for yourself?
First big grant, I would say it was $50,000. Like, that was like the first, like, okay, we're in the game.
What was it?
It was a New York State grant that we had won. It was through New York State. Speaking of state grants, one tip that I always tell people is to register your business in multiple states as foreign entities, because you can access the state local grants in those areas as well.
How do you register one business in multiple states?
Through a foreign entity.
I don't know that. I'm sorry.
You didn't know that?
I'm
You're educating each other.
Yeah, so
this is good.
I don't claim to put myself in the financial literacy category. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship, yes. There's mad things I'm like ignorant to. So you got to break that kind of stuff down to me.
Yeah. So, a foreign entity is essentially being able to have like a sub business in another state where you still have your main operating business, but now you can operate in these different states as well. It's just as simple as that.
I got you. So if I have 4 or 5 different foreign entities, I can apply for grants in all of these states except for the one I'm in.
No, all of them.
I mean, not except for, but not only the one I'm in.
Correct.
But it gives me a better chance.
Right. And it does matter because, bigger cities are going to have more grants, especially on the state level, because those are taxpayer dollars, right? Grants are taxpayer dollars that are distributed. So if you have a state with a lot of taxpayers, they're going to have more money to give out.
Am I able to write a grant and use that same grant for multiple states, or everyone has to be tailored?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, you should really create what's called a boilerplate. It's like a full written out document that you utilize as your core messaging. And then you just tailor that a little bit to each different grant. You tailor the budget, you tailor the some of the words and the key phrases in the grant. But you should really be using the same messaging every time, because what you want to do is, like I said, create a data-driven result for yourself. If you're always putting something different on every single grant opportunity, you're not going to know what worked and what didn't work. So when you're getting the feedback from the grantor, you're just like, okay, great feedback, but I don't really know what to do with it, because you don't have that boilerplate.
Yeah.
You don't have that foundation.
That makes sense. Your process, how challenging or easy is it to duplicate? Because I know you teach other people, and I know Kay is sitting over there like, that boy about to ask me to learn how to write grants. I know she was thinking about that, because I was actually thinking about it. But so how simple is it for Kay to learn this process so that she can start winning her own grants?
In my point of view, it's pretty simple to learn. It just takes time and dedication to, really grasp the visualization of what goes on between this. I mean, Pink Print is franchising, so it's got to be pretty simple to be able to.
What do you mean?
We just finished all of our FDD documents to be able to franchise the company. So it got to be pretty simple and duplicatable.
Hold on. You're franchising Pink Print. What does that entail? Like, if I wanted to franchise it, what does it mean?
Yeah. So I would just need an upfront fee. to be able to, license you out all of our trademarks and our proprietary information. And essentially, we would give you the blueprint of how we train, how we write, how we hire, how we, acquire customers and clients, and give you the right to hold our name that has, all the success attached to it. And you would be able to offer grant writing in Mississippi, as pink print to all the business owners in that area.
So if I'm a franchisee of yours, I'll learn the process and I can start writing grants for other people, which means you do have to have a very, very detailed and easy to follow process for them to. So it's like McDonald's. Like fries over there, milkshake over there.
It's very like, this is what we do because this is how we've gotten results.
But the other side of your business is not franchising and not writing the grants yourself, but teaching other people how to do this.
Yeah.
So how many students have you had?
We've had, I'm going to just calculate it based on our Get Grant Ready Summit. So our Get Grant Ready Summit, this is our 3rd year. We do 2 every year. Each class, we've had anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 people in those classes. So I'll say maybe 6,000.
Hold on, your conference is 1,500 to 2,500 people?
It's virtual. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And one thing I always talk about is if you became successful, you may have something special. Mm-hmm. But if you can't point to somebody else that's become successful, then you don't really have a good formula. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some people who went to your class or talked about or you taught, and now they're going out to actually crush it.
I'll give you one who just DM'd me last week who won a $15,000 grant. Ash Jubert. Ash Jubert, she's crushed it. So she took our class July of last year. Since then, she's secured annual grant support where she's getting thousands of dollars every month for the next 12 months from grantors. She's actually become a grant writer for some local departments here in Atlanta, Georgia, where she's writing their grant opportunities for their community projects. Wow. She's consistently winning grant opportunities for her nonprofit organization as well. And she's just totally killed it. And I would say also Kaisha Misal, she took our class back. I think she took our very first one in like 2023 or 2022. She's been killing it. That girl, she has a nonprofit for the she doesn't call them homeless. She calls them the displaced community, I think it is. She's won tons of grants for her community projects to be able to do different things. And she comes to all of our events and she's like, y'all better follow exactly to the T what Stormy told you. I'm telling you, it works. We just had 13 vendors at InvestFest who had gone through our programs, won grants.
13 vendors of your students.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. And so I'm like, the proof is in the pudding, right? And this is not for me to even say, because I do like to always be realistic with people's expectations. We haven't won everybody a grant,
for sure,
right? We've worked with clients that we haven't won them a grant, and that's just realistic. But the thing is like, you can't give up in the grant process, because grants really are, it could be something so simple that gets you denied. It could be, oh, we've already funded, projects similar to this in the last 3 months. We're trying to, take a new avenue. Mm-hmm. It could be, oh, right now, we're not looking to, fund budgets where 50% of it is staffing, right? We want to focus more so on direct program cost. It could be little tiny minute details, but if you're constantly giving up throughout the process, you're never going to get to success. So we have clients where, we'll apply to 3 and they won't win and they'll be like, this doesn't work. But yet they'll spend 30 days fixing their credit. They'll apply for 50,000 jobs on Indeed. But when it comes to actually running their business and building their legacy, it's give up time.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate.
It is.
So for a grant writer, how much should I expect to pay a grant writer to go after the grant? And I mean, they're not guaranteeing me a grant, but is there some sort of stipulation where it's like, all right, if you don't get this one, or I'll pay you an X amount of dollars for you to go after 3 grants? If you don't get all 3, cool. But is it just 1-to-1? How is it structured?
So everyone's structured different. You could do hourly or you could do an upfront wage, and the wage really should depend on success rate. Like how many have they won? how much in monetary value and have they won as well. So I would say it depends on the grant writer, on the grant agency. But we charging anywhere, I mean, to work with me typically is anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 to work with me for a year as your grant writer in your firm. But like to work with our company, it starts as low as $1,000, right? And we have like Klarna, Shop Pay, all that stuff available.
Hold on. So you're talking about you write the grants, 20 to 50 grand for the year, and you're my in-house grant writer.
Yeah, like a salary.
I mean, with that, it's a high possibility over a year.
Oh,
All right, look, I'm gonna take my equity back and just hire you.
no, I'm changing my structure.
All right. So, side note, for real, I do want to have a conversation with you about this because I think we can run this bag up. Because I'm the only person in the space, especially, and I don't even like to use this, but I'm literally the largest Black podcast conference. Well, and we're quickly running up on the largest podcast conference, period, in the country for sure. But I think there's a lot of opportunities because I do want to bring in the college students. I do want to teach the high school students how to use their voice. I do want to go to, I don't know, what is it, like AA meetings and give them an opportunity to learn how to share their story and give them the confidence. There's a lot of things that I want to do, and we're literally the biggest in the space. So we need some funding.
I like that. That could be.
Are you going to work with me for real?
We're going to talk about it and see if it's a good fit.
Let's just talk about it now in front of my friends. From my live studio.
The pressure's on.
Well, okay. No, we'll talk about it later. Okay. But so I can find either maybe one of your students, say, hey, I know this person that wants to hire you to write a grant. They can charge $1,000. But is it just one grant? Yeah.
No, my students are mostly like for-profit and like nonprofit business owners who are utilizing the techniques that we teach them as certified grant writers to write their own. Do their own. Yeah, they're not like becoming grant writers. The only time that we would teach you how to become a grant writer is if you franchise our business. Like, we're not going to teach you how to be a grant writer. I want to monopolize my industry.
But you are teaching them how to. So you're teaching me how to write a grant for myself.
Right.
Which doesn't prevent me from going to write other grants for people.
It doesn't. But that's not typically
That's not the model or the person you're going after. Okay.
Right. That's not typically what they're looking for. Like, I'm not like saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to become a grant writer. I'm like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to access debt-free funding for your business.
Through being a grant writer, though.
Through writing a grant. Being a grant writer is different.
What's the difference?
Well, it's a career.
So you're essentially teaching me how to go get a grant, but not teaching me how to market yourself, promote yourself as a grant writer, but you will give me the skill set.
Correct. There you go.
Writing a grant.
We're there. We've made it.
I got it. Okay. With your company, let's say, for instance, somebody wants to hire your company to write grants. And so what's the range for either, I know you said you could be 20 to 50,000. And do you only do it for the year, or is it like there's a couple grants that I want to go after and I want to hire you to go after that?
Me personally, I only do it for the year. My company will do, 3 grants for you, 8 grants for you, 15 grants for you, or we'll just write your proposal so that you can have like that boilerplate to use. So you have like that core messaging that you can use on your own. We have a few different, structures like that.
I see. So I can come to you and say, I want to go after 5 grants. Do I have to know what the grants are already, or will I just say, I want to shoot a bunch of stuff at the wall and you'll go find the 5?
So we'll typically, like, how the process works is you fill out an initial questionnaire so we can get to know some preliminary information. And then we actually get on a call so that we can figure out what are your goals? Like, what are you hoping to be able to do? Why you're hoping to do it, so we can kind of get the messaging together. And then we'll take about 7 days to just research to figure out what funders are funding this. Is anyone funding this? If there's a shift that your business has to make, are you willing to make that shift? Like, if it's like, oh, Stormy, I want to get grants to, do research for autistic kids with autism. If we say, hey, they're actually looking for you to create a research center, are you open to that? Instead of just researching at home, those little tweaks and things that may be happening. Once we get on the same page, that's when we'll be like, okay, now let's write the proposal. We'll find the grants for you. If you have a grant that you saw that you want to go for, we'll let you know if that's a good fit or not, and then we'll apply and then wait and kind of give you some tips and tools to use to like manage grants and that type of stuff afterwards.
I got you. I'd love for you to pull up how to go after grants. And Jay, can we screen record this so we make sure we put it in the video? It's screen recording right now? Okay, cool. So for those that are listening and you can't really see it, and if you're watching this like on social media or something like that, we'll just walk you through it. So can you show me where the opportunities are for me?
Yes.
Okay, where are we at? Let's do it. You got to make sure you just talk through the whole thing.
Okay, I'll talk through the whole thing. So there's a few different sites. Like I mentioned before, there's the corporate grants, the state, local grants, and the federal grants. Now, this website that we're going to pull up today is called grantwatch.com, right? Grantwatch.com. And this is the best for finding state, local, and corporate grant opportunities, okay? So on this website, they just launched this AI tool where you can search easier, but you have to have a subscription to the platform to be able to do it. But the website is free to use for anybody, right? So on this website, as you can see right now, there's 9,883 available grants currently on the marketplace. So anyone that's saying that they can't find a grant and there's almost 10,000 grants out there is cap. So you can find a grant opportunity. So once you get on this website, the best thing to do is actually to filter out your search. So when you're filtering out your search, you want to choose.
Go back real quick. Okay.
Search by category.
Okay.
Right. So once you filter out your search by category. So let's just say you can toggle off as many of these as you want, or you can get as streamlined as you want and toggle off only a few. So depending on what industry you're in, that's kind of where you'll be choosing. Are you business?
Keep going.
You can choose community and economic development. You can choose disaster relief, energy, entrepreneur, startup, faith-based, individual, nutrition and food, operation support, right? You can literally toggle off so many of these to decide what type of category of grants are you trying to receive.
What would I be in podcasting?
We could go
business or
let's see. We could go tech. We could definitely go technology. We could go small business. We could go.
Let's go business. Let's go business.
I got business toggled on.
Okay.
And then you can search by geographical location too. So you can, like I said, this is when having multiple states actually is valuable. So when
you can select a few of them at the same time?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Georgia because I'm only in Georgia right now. Let's go Georgia with it. Okay.
And then you can also search by recipient. So are you a nonprofit, a business owner, individual, right?
Business. Okay. And so if I don't have a business at all, I can still go. I can be in this race because I saw individual there.
Yeah, you could get grants for ideas, but there's going to be less, right? There's not going to be as many as they're going to give to a for-profit or a nonprofit. Right. So I always tell people go ahead and register because you open yourself up to more grants.
Okay. All right. I see search keyword. Can we just put podcast in there?
Okay, that's perfect. I'm so glad you said that. So I always train people when you're using keywords, you don't use keywords that make sense to you. You use keywords that grantors are using. No grantor is going to just flat out say grants for podcasting. So they're going to use a keyword like grants for
media,
stuff like that. They're using more so, and there's another word for it that's slipping my mind right now, but you want to use grantor language in your keyword search. So even if you have to use this is another way you can use AI tool. If you have to use AI to say, okay, I'm a podcaster, what are some grant language keywords that a grantor would use to be able to like shell out grant funding, right? That way you can find what the keywords they would actually use is. But typically, if you don't know the keywords, I say search it without the keywords, right?
Okay. So we're going to click to search available grants and funding. Okay.
So now what that pulled up is 285 results for businesses in Georgia that are for profit, right? So that's currently what we have. And now we have, this is when the time takes place because now, like as a grant writer, I got to go through these. I got to go through these to see which ones fit. Yeah, I got to go through these. So this is why I kind of said in the beginning too, like I like to find funders directly before I go to like the databases now because it's like a little bit more streamlined process for me. But yeah, you go through these. So like they have, grants for small business research and development. They have grants for for-profit agencies to research education programs, data related, all kind of grants are on here, but you would literally have to go through each and every one of these to find, grants that are related to what you're doing.
But there's something that fits.
I mean, there's
You just have to-
285 grant opportunities, and this is just one database.
And that's just one category in one state, in one database.
Exactly.
What was the other database, the other website you said?
Okay, so an easy one that a lot of people are really loving is called Hello Skip.
Hello Skip? Like SKIP?
Yep.
Hello
It's called
Skip.
helloskip.com.
Okay. Okay, so tell me about Hello Skip.
So helloskip.com, did they change their website to where you, oh, there it goes. Boom. So this is also a free website, but these are mostly corporate grant opportunities that they have on here. So these are going to be like your AT&Ts, your Verizons, giving out grant funding. These grants are probably the easiest place to start because the applications are a little bit more, easy to digest. So let's just say right now there's this grant right here, the Cornerstone Grant. It's a $10,000 grant to support entrepreneurs that have a Square account for at least 6 months. Or you can go to the 15% pledge grant. This grant is a $10,000 grant for BIPOC women-owned businesses in the fashion industry, intimates, lifestyle apparel sector, right?
What's BIPOC?
It's black industrious.
I'm about to find out. I need to know because I might be.
It's something about
BIPOC.
being minority.
Yeah, Black, Indigenous,
Yeah.
and people of color. Black, Indigenous, people of color. So people of color is POC. Black, Indigenous. Yes.
There we go. I was on the right path. So boom, you have that one. So when you go to a grant opportunity, here's what we do, right? First and foremost, you have to be able to look at, are you eligible to apply? Because if you're utilizing your time to actually apply to grants that you're not eligible for, you're wasting your time.
Gotcha.
So this one, right, it says like, you must be a U.S. based business. You must be available to travel to Columbus, Ohio for an in-person pitch competition. You must be able to commit to a 12-week accelerator program. You must sell intimates and apparel, yada, yada, yada. So you have to, or you must be.
That's actually fire though, because it's not just money. It looks like they're arming you in your industry.
The 15% pledge is really good for that. They do a lot of accelerator programs, pitch competitions, but
That's hard.
it could be more of this or less than this, because I can find you a grant too where, watch, they're probably like, oh, all you got to do is just apply. Okay, boom. So this is Intuit QuickBooks and MailChimp grant. This is a $20,000 grant for business heroes, right? So this
And
one,
does only one person win?
this one they're choosing, this grant award, nominated. They're choosing 10 on this one. So it depends.
10 people all get 20?
20.
Or is it? Oh.
10 people get 20. So this one is like, you have to be U.S. based business, 18 years or older, no purchase necessary. If there's ever a grant that you have to pay for, I do not apply to that grant.
It's a scam.
I don't know if it's a scam, but to me, you're crowdfunding to give the money, and I'd rather you just say you're crowdfunding than try to say this is a grant.
Yeah, it's definitely a Ponzi. Like, yo, you apply. It's like the dude that won the not won the lottery or something like that. He sold. I don't remember the story, but essentially, if you apply, a bunch of people apply. The guy that sold his house, he said he did a raffle or something like that. Raffled off a $1 ticket to sell his house or something like that. He got 1 million people.
Yes.
And he gave away this $300,000 house. That's a play. You hear me?
Play. So, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, there's so many grants out here, and like these ones are due all the way in November, October. So you have plenty of time to apply.
Wow. Okay. And when I hire you as my in-house, well, I don't gotta hire you because you're my partner. But if someone was gonna hire you as the in-house, it's like, yo, for 12 months, I'm going after getting everything I can get.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me who you're working for. But in this scenario, can you give me some numbers of like, okay, one of the people that you work for them, you were a grant writer and you got this much for them?
So I work with this currently right now, this hair care brand that's super popular. And what we do for them is we help them expand through funding. So we've been able to get them financial support for warehouse expansion. We've been able to support them in new product development that they've launched. And we're talking about, this is at the $1 million point now, like accumulatively, right? Wow. So grants genuinely is the strategy to grow your business. But what I tell entrepreneurs is that you have to plan for grants. The reason why a lot of people are going to go back to credit or loans and get into debt is because they're flying by their seat. And you can't do that with grants because of the time frame and the process on its own. You need to be planning each quarter ahead of time, right? Yeah. So at the end of the year, if I'm working for you in your business, we're sitting down just like you would with your accountant, just like you would with your marketing team. And we're saying, what are our goals for 2026? What things and initiatives do we have in place? And how much of it can we get in grant funding? What are our expectations on a quarterly level and on a monthly level, so that I know what my targets are. I know this month I got to get 150,000. So I'm looking at grants particularly to be able to raise that much money so that we can do the initiatives that we need to do. Because based on sales, if I don't get the grants and you get the sale, you have to use your revenue money to be able to pay for that stuff. Yeah. So that throws our plans off. So you really do need to be thinking of grants of like a real stream of revenue in the company.
Yeah, I've never had this conversation before.
It was a pleasure.
I've never even thought about it. I mean, I've never thought about it. You have conversations like, yo, you can get a grant, you can get this and that. Actually, my homegirl, Bianca, and I forgot to send this to UK. So my friend Bianca, she actually sent me a grant from Startup Runway or deckcheck.valor, deckcheck or something like that.
Okay.
She's like, upload a deck here for feedback, and there's a deadline for September 30th, and it's like a $10,000 grant. Or the collective support and change. Like she just, the space that she's in. So I had this conversation, and it's just funny that we're having this conversation now because we hear it, but we don't take it seriously and look at it as a real way of getting money. We'd rather just apply for credit, which I'm not saying it's a bad way of getting funding, but it seems unnecessary if you understand this process.
Yeah. And I think, credit is more so, it's all funding is a good tool if you know where to use it and how to use it in the business. But I think that it should go grants first. Go for grants. Go for pitch competitions. Go for debt-free, non-dilutive funding first. Yeah. And then when you need, quick cash, or you can't pay payroll, you got to hurry get the credit card out. Yeah. Use that at that point. Don't make the credit and the loans your first go-to.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Because these are non-debt.
Correct.
They're taxable.
Yeah.
And I guess if someone on the credit side was rebuttaling, it's like, this is non-tax money, but you're going to debt. But I'd rather pay taxes than go into debt.
Yeah, because at least
personally.
Because it's like you pay taxes on money that you have. Yeah. You pay debt on money that you don't have.
Yeah. That's a fact. That is a fact. Stormy, this was so good. Did we miss anything? Did we not cover something? What didn't we cover? We covered a lot.
We covered a lot. We did good.
Yeah, we did good. All right. So how can they get in touch with you? How can they work with you?
Well, if you go to pinkprintfirm.com, literally everything that we offer and that we have is right there on that website. And I mean, for those who are like, hey, I don't have the $1,000 to be able to pay to have a grant writer, we got you covered because we do the Get Grant Ready Summits. So that's coming up in September, the 22nd through the 26th.
And look at all these black women on this website.
Oh, we black. We good in black at Pink Print.
Black.
Oh,
too.
We good in black.
This is exciting. So we got the options. Okay, I'm on Pink Print Firm. Pink, like the color. Print, like printing paper. Firm.com. So you can join the 5-day Get Grant Ready Summit. Or it says secure my grant, write my grant, build a debt-free business with grant experts, or you can get help, write my plan. This is good. You got mad testimonials in here too.
Yeah, we got like 4, 5, something.
This is so good, man. This is so good. So your grant writing services, get your grant package, write my grant, get funded. Okay, this is good. So we have so $1,000 you can get a grant written. Mm-hmm. And after they write the grant, you give them the thing that you wrote so that maybe they can use it for something else?
Yeah, you own it. And I say like that will last you like 12 months. I always say get a new one because every 12 months, you're changing things in your business. Messaging may have changed, staff, all that stuff.
This ain't bad. So write a grant, apply to 3. So I can get someone to write a grant and apply to 3 grants for me for only $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
I can get 8 of them applied to for $3,000, then 15 for 4. This ain't bad at all. I don't know why I thought it was going to be more money than this.
It's not. I mean, I think that it's a good strategy for people who are like, I want to save time, focus on my genius and my business as a, valuable entrepreneur, and not have to learn a new skill set when there's people out there that are already killing it and crushing it.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, I wish I'd have saw this before I gave you equity in my company. I'd have just paid the money. But, we're going to have a conversation about this, okay? So when y'all see Podcast Summit Bigger and Better, it's because we got a large injection of cash. So,
Amen.
Stormy, thank you so much, man. I definitely appreciate this conversation because more of us need to have it because there's money out there. And from what I'm understanding is as we are going for these grants, it's not about the color of your skin or your gender because they're just looking at a sheet of paper of someone that wrote something well that's applying for it, right?
Sometimes it can be. There can be, because like the one that was from the 15% pledge, they were like, you got to be 51% or more Black-owned, woman-owned. So some of them can be gender or race-based, but there's still other opportunities no matter what.
But there's probably no grants that you can get when you got to be white-owned.
Ooh.
You feel me? Like, you don't think... Actually, it would actually be fair that way.
It might be out there.
Because, like, there are grants strictly for... Never mind. But my point is, no matter what your background, no matter who you are, no matter what your gender is, your color, you can go get this money.
100%.
Because it's just a skill set.
100%.
This is awesome, man. Okay, all right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Please, again, just let them know again how they can connect with you, but also take us out with a word of wisdom.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching this episode with me and David. I'm your girl, Stormi Banks, your new favorite grant writer. Make sure you guys follow me at Pink Print Firm across all social media platforms, or I am Stormi Banks, and that's Stormy with an I. Can't wait to see you guys at the Get Grant Ready Summit. Make sure you go to pinkprintfirm.com to grab your spot. And a word of wisdom for you who are watching this right now. The best thing that you're going to do for your life is to make God your source, because he has the wisdom, he has the knowledge, and he has the joy and the fruits of the Spirit that are going to be able to guide you and lead you to a righteous and successful path. And if there's anything I can leave you with, it's that. You heard it here first.
We can't close it out no better than that, man. Do y'all yourself a favor. Make sure y'all connect with Stormy. What's your Instagram?
I am Stormi Banks.
I am Stormi Banks on Instagram. If you're listening to this, I want you to go to her DM right now and just say thank you. I just want you to send her DM. That was really valuable. If it helps you, I want you to start a conversation. Don't expect a reply. She may reply, but if she doesn't, don't be mad because I'm just trying to send appreciation. I'm asking you to flood her DM with flowers because this is valuable information. And hopefully we'll see you at the summit. Hopefully she invites me to like interview somebody when she does the live in-person joints. That'd be fire if I could do an interview on stage with somebody. Are you going to do them in person? I know you're doing virtually right now.
The Get Ready Summit?
I mean, yeah, one of the events. Are you going to do live events?
Yeah.
I'm in there, all right? I know I'm not a Black woman, but I'm going to be in that thing. But make sure you send her a DM and do yourself a favor. Go get you some social proof, meaning go build something and build it really, really big. But it is your responsibility to come back to your community and teach them how you did it. It's the only way our community grows. We are out. Peace.